This is Fabled Charisma, and today we are reading some Dungeons and Dragons Am I the Asshole Reddit stories we have found on Reddit. Today, Annika will be reading us our first story, and then we will lead into Natanya's story. Annika, what do you got?
All right. Mine is just titled, Is My DM Bad or Am I the Asshole? Never played any TTR. Hold on. My hair is covering my fucking ear and it sounds like I'm in a box. Okay. Whew.
In there.
You
Never
got out of the
played.
box.
Yeah. Oh my God. I could hear like my voice reverberating in my head. It was killing me. Never played any TTRPG before. And in quotes, it says, longtime video game RPG / grand strategy person. Nuts and bolts mechanics don't really scare me. Got drawn into Vampire Dark Ages, played over Foundry because time / distance. DM is a friend who's been playing for decades. Playing and DMing. This is written a little messed up.
I see that.
I'm trying to figure this top part out. So what this little section is trying to say is he's played a lot of games. Some of them are vampire themed, some of them are werewolf themed. He's really experienced at what he does. I thought, what the hell? Seems fun. I should be able to decide if I want to play more with such an experienced crew, and Vampire's my DM's favorite. Jesus H. Guide checks the book for every roll, doesn't trust for us to know our sheets, barely any RP. Always talks to us out of character, spoils huge pieces of the module, feels like every conversation is a dick flex to show how much he knows about the lore additions. Everything. I feel like I don't have any sense of the setting or feeling of the Dark Ages because all he does is read character scripts. We've been playing for months now, every other Monday, and we've tried talking to him about slowing the pace down to RP more, and it was better for a session? Totally crashed now. Case in point, we had the last session for the module, and rather than to the tension and problem solving, he just summarized what we needed to know and moved on. The last hour was us just sitting in silence while he read. I know I'm a legit newbie with this, but this doesn't feel right. I was sold on Vampire because all of my social combats and clues / mysteries of the story. More than once I had to argue with the DM to stop telling me shit and let me experience my first character and end the game. I don't know, maybe this is usual, but fuck, this is not fun. Spent hours making my character, and I feel like I barely know her or what she wants after 5 months of playing.
Oof.
Doesn't fit with my experience with any other story-heavy RPG. Now I know that was a tough read.
Wow.
I wouldn't
For
say the
me
DM's
personally, but
I wouldn't say the DM's necessarily an asshole. I feel like he just would be better off writing a book, especially if you're just going to railroad the entire thing and you're just going to flex on lore. Write a book.
yeah.
Don't run a table.
Yeah. It also seems like if I heard that correctly and read that correctly, he was spoiling like whole modules of the entire campaign for this vampire thing, which like what your players get nothing out of that at the table if you're
Yeah.
just going to spoil what's coming up next. And it just sounds honestly, he probably is just the DM himself is probably just excited to play, and he can't
Yeah.
contain that excitement and just like says, "Oh, well, it's this, do that," and then he's like, "Oh, come on, man! Like, let me like figure this out," you
Do
know?
that.
Yeah, like give me a
Um,
minute. We can
like I feel like maybe the DM's an asshole, but maybe he just needs to chill out and let it
Well, and
like
to
run
be
its pace.
fair, the question was, is my DM bad or am I the asshole? So I think the clear answer to this is that the DM is bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, the DM is bad. I'll go with that.
The DM is bad at what he does.
No one's really an asshole here.
Doesn't
And
mean he
also
can't get better.
it's just obviously different play styles, I guess. Maybe
Yeah.
some people would be into their DM just
Yeah,
reading
there's
And
a
a
lot.
I get the excitement when a DM and you have a really, really cool story or really big hooks that you're excited about. And if you have no one you can tell about, you are going to accidentally spoil a couple things. But
Yeah.
deliberately going out and just giving up the information, just like, hey, this guy, he's the bad guy.
Yeah.
Well, just
Ruins
Said
it.
the
Totally
doors
ruined it.
open up and then the bad guy walks out.
Yeah, the bad guy presents himself. I'd probably say he's a bad DM, but it also doesn't mean he can't become better. I feel like
Oh,
it's
of course
it's not
not.
black and white. I feel like a lot of these posts, people like kind of chalk it up to like the DM or the player will never be able to recover from being the asshole. You know?
Yeah, I feel like there's a comment that really like hits that on the head. It just says, I mean, your description of him certainly makes him sound like a bad DM, but that's kind of beside the point. What matters here is that you aren't having a good time, so stop playing with this group and don't play with them again.
That's fair.
Exactly.
That's reasonable. It's like you whether he's bad or whether it's not your style, you're not having a good time. Like another one just says it's a game after all. Like
hmm It's
Yeah.
5 months that you put into that. You've done your time. You gave it a shot.
yeah,
Time to kind of
It
cut
didn't
it.
work out.
And, yep, just go.
Yep.
it's fine.
Dang. Okay. And then I mean, was there like I don't really see an option where people like unanimously decided like if he was the bad DM or not. But I guess it looks
No, it was
like
kind
people
of
are just saying he's the bad DM.
yeah, it's mostly it more relayed more to like a table dispute in that part of it. So I don't think the
Um,
DM's the asshole.
there's another
I think he's
comment
just
here I
bad.
kind of want to read. It says, "Are you guys smoking a lot of weed? This reminds me of how we used to play when we all mostly smoked weed and sat around the table. Anyway, if you're not having fun, that's not good. It's a game after all." Um,
Yeah, man.
but
He said we messed up a lot when we were high. Is that the problem?
yeah, is that the
He
problem?
said, "Are y'all just not with it?" You checked that.
We have one more story for today. If Natanya wants to throw us into that one.
All right. Got am I the asshole for not allowing a player to level up in D&D? I DM for my friends. We have a few campaigns that we rotate out but about a month ago I stopped mine due to outside reasons. We continued the other campaigns DM'd by other friends in the group. I recently announced that my campaign would be back in the rotation and to plan for a session on X day. I gave the group a notice of about a week and a half. I have a rule in my games that if a player misses 3 or more sessions in a level, their character can't level up with the others. This isn't permanent, but it will take a few sessions for the absentee player to get that lost level. All through the week leading up to our set day and to restart my campaign, I was messaging my players to make sure that the day still worked for everyone because I wanted everyone to present when we started again. The day of, I confirmed again with all of my friends that the evening still worked. All replied except for a friend that I will call Allie. Allie has other D&D games outside of the ones we do with our friends that she meets online with. I privately message Allie and ask if she is still coming to that evening. No response. I thought she was just in class. A few more hours go by, and I finally got a message from Allie saying that one of her online games got moved to that evening and that she would not be coming to mine. I was upset and asked why she hadn't mentioned it earlier. She said that she was distracted by movies she was watching and hadn't seen my messages all day, which was a lie, as every time I messaged the group, her icon would pop online for a few minutes and then pop off. I had initially dismissed it as her reading in class and not being able to respond, but she had just told me otherwise. I continue with the session as planned. The party had left off on a cliffhanger, and I was planning on leveling them up as soon as they completed the quest. Allie had already missed a session during this particular level, but had missed a lot of sessions prior because of her other online sessions being planned for the same night as mine. This particular absence only made two, but I was so upset that she ditched last minute with a week and a half notice that I decided she would not be leveling up with everyone else. The session ended and I told my friends to level their characters up. Later I checked my character on D&D Beyond and noticed that Allie had leveled up her character without asking me and without rolling for HP in a place I could see. She has fudged rolls in the past. Here is where I may be the asshole. As a DM, I am able to edit her character sheet, so I went onto her sheet and leveled her character back down down a level and left it that way without telling her. We have another session in my campaign coming up, and I still have yet to tell her. She hasn't tried to edit the sheet back and hasn't said anything about why she's a level lower than everyone else. Am I the asshole?
Nope.
He should tell her though. He's got to grow up a little bit and say something to her.
Yes, but I feel like they are well within their rights to be able to do
Yeah.
that.
Oh
Like
yeah.
they did,
I
they
believe that.
had the rule established. They had talked to them to let them know, like, hey, this is going on. Then
Yeah.
this other person goes out of the way, doesn't tell the DM about it. Again, petty. Levels up without being told to, and then is told have to roll HP in front of the DM because of fudging rolls in the past.
Yeah.
I think the DM was well within their rights to revert them back to the previous level. And if they are able to make up those sessions, then they can level up. I think it's a good rule overall. I don't think the DM's an asshole.
I
The
concur
only
with
issue
that.
the only issue I have is him not saying anything to her and also just like kind of being an adult about it. But that's kind
Yeah.
of the issue I have on like both sides, I guess, is
It's
like
a little petty the way he's
it's a
going
little
about it.
petty and it's like kind of feels unnecessary. I get that that shit is probably irritating as hell. He also broke his own rule to note. I don't think that's a super big
Yeah.
deal. He's the DM, he can do whatever the fuck he wants, um but he did break his own rule cuz he said you have to be absent 3 times within a level to not level up with everyone else, and this was technically only her second time in that level missing a session. So he did break his own
That's
rule and
true.
then didn't even say anything.
I
And
th-
so she probably assumed like, "Hey, I can up level up my character," assuming she heard that from somebody else in the group who was there that evening. And she was like, "Oh, I can level up because I only missed 2 sessions," because she knew the rule. And so she leveled herself up. Maybe she just hasn't checked D&D Beyond or that
honestly,
character since. I don't know. But I kind of feel like there's a chance here that this player wasn't aware of how maybe disrespectful they were being, but I feel like it could have been solved with the conversation.
it
A
also doesn't
conversation should
cover
have
up the
happened.
fact though that she straight up lied because she said she never saw the messages, and the person
Oh yeah.
saw her reading the messages. So
I
instead of,
mean,
and
yeah.
there, it seems like they're both not handling this like adults because A,
Yeah.
he broke his own rule, and I mean, as a DM, I can get the frustration with somebody not showing up at the last minute, especially giving a week and a half notice.
Oh
And
yeah,
for
that's
it being
shitty.
for another campaign, I can get how that can be very frustrating. Whereas,
Yeah.
like, life issues popping up, you can't control that. But,
Yeah.
like,
Right.
not being able to let the other table know you're not going to be able to make it because you have another table's obligation to go to, and you just blow off that DM entirely, like, that seems fucked up. Um, and then lying about it seems also pretty messed up. He definitely shouldn't have just access to character sheet and just de-leveled them. I think that should have been a conversation before they got to play again,
Yeah.
and allowing them the
Yeah.
chance to de-level themselves.
Right.
Um, but I do like people set aside time to make these things happen. People set time in their life to make these campaigns happen and make these sessions happen. And for one of the players to just blow it off twice, um, and then level themselves up seems like they don't have much regard for, because as a DM, you're also writing story for like that character and then how that
Yeah.
character story is going to intertwine with the rest of the campaign. And when someone's not showing up, you have to do last minute rewrites, especially if they don't give you any warning. And it's also like they were communicating to everybody, like in the group chat, saying, "Hey, this session's on this day, a week and a half in advance with multiple reminders." At that point, it's this person's responsibility to reply saying, "Hey, I'm not going to make it. I have another session to go to." You
Right.
know, in a way, this person, as far as de-leveling them, that should have been a separate conversation. But this DM did their due diligence with multiple reminders to the group chat saying, "Hey, we're going to have this session. Let me know if you can't make it," from what I'm reading. And this person is reading it and not replying and then not showing up and then leveling themselves up without asking seems a little disrespectful to the whole
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
concept.
I think like the player's the asshole, but the DM's being petty.
Oh yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that's the difference it is, that she's
I agree.
definitely the asshole, but, like, he's
Um
being a little petty too, you know?
Yeah.
yeah, because he did break his own rule. He said 3, and like I get the anger. Like I get it might make you angry, but like his own
Oh, yeah.
rule that he stated was 3 sessions inside the same level.
And
And
also this is starting to feel more like a friendship issue than a D&D
Yeah.
issue.
yeah,
You know?
I agree with that.
The effects out game are now leaking into the actual game itself.
Mhm.
Exactly. Like this
Mhm.
feels more like an outside issue, like a friendship issue,
Yeah.
not a D&D issue. Like
Well, also
And
too,
just
like
continuing to use the game as a weapon against each other is
Right.
how
I
you're
think
just
it's
ruining it for yourself.
I think it's a little bit of both though, because I still stand with the
That's what
idea
I'm
that
saying.
you need to if you are not gonna show up, say you can't show up.
Yeah.
Like you owe your friends that communication. Um, to just not show up and then just blow them off, and then to have the audacity to just level yourself up when you know everybody else leveled
Yeah.
up, when you know the
Yeah.
rule, like you know that rule's in play. I would ask the DM and be like, "Hey, I know I didn't show up. I apologize. Can I level up my character anyway? Because I'm still inside of your rule that you gave us." Instead of just not
Right.
communicating that and leveling themselves up. I don't think the DM should touch any player's character sheet ever unless they, miss spell slots and they tap the spell slot or they update an item in their inventory like I do for you guys
Right.
or anything like that. But like de-leveling a character or leveling up a character for a player is like that's not okay.
Like going in and yeah, specifically de-leveling. It's like, dude, talk to her.
Yeah,
Tell her you're mad.
Yeah.
And you have a right to be mad. Tell her that,
yeah.
Yeah.
Communicate your frustration with that player. Don't just de-level them and wait for them to notice.
to find out.
Like, did you see that? Did you see what I did to you? Like,
Yeah. See.
I'm interested with the ruling though. Um,
Yeah. I was gonna say the ruling was that this guy was the asshole.
Wow.
yeah.
That's crazy.
Dang. I guess I can kind of see it, but not really.
The top comment says you should follow your own rules and be upfront if you're going to penalize her for something. If you're tired of her missing sessions, talk to her about it and decide if she's committed enough to continue playing. I think this is particularly passive aggressive. I think this particular passive aggressive gesture makes you the asshole. Then someone replied to that and said this, I was prepared to say not the asshole and that you were only enforcing the rules everyone knew about until you mentioned that Allie hadn't missed 3 sessions. Punishing her because you're upset is an asshole move. You're the asshole.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
Damn.
And then one of them just flat out says you're the asshole. You're not enforcing your rule. You're being petty.
Yeah, they spelled "your" wrong.
Right? Put that
Grammar.
as your own comment back. This is the correct your.
This is the correct "your."
Like the only thing you add to the whole.
I mean, that's a fair point. He set a rule. He set a rule for the table, and he shortchanged it by jumping the gun, which seems messed up. Wow.
I feel like a conversation
little.
should have been had.
I feel like there
Yeah,
need
we
to be a
were.
couple of conversations there. Wow.
It's nuanced.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, this has been Fabled Charisma, and these are some Dungeons and Dragons Am I the Asshole Reddit stories. And I hope you guys had fun watching. Safe travels, even safer adventuring, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.